Let's take a look at the Likee Rapid Slide puzzle game. Ages 3 to 99 years old. They claim to be the fastest and funniest and cleverest sliding puzzle game. Let's find out. I find that hard to believe, but it might be fun. So you have the dots on the board that you need to move around to match whatever card you drew here. I haven't had this open yet, so this is my first impression of this game. This is about $15 online. It's made in China. We have the package of the puzzle cards. We have the puzzle itself. This is about, this looks like 1/4-inch plywood and 1/8 plywood for the rings. It feels good, it's sanded well. The corners are slightly rounded, just barely. So these are wooden dots. They are affixed to the board, so they move around with it, but you can't pull them off, which is good. And you're able to move like this to different spots. If you want to get the green over here, you got to get the blue out of the way, then the green can come over here. It's that type of mechanic. Again, you want to get the red over here, you move this blue here temporarily, get the red there, and then you can move the blue back. Let's open up the cards. There are 28 cards, and you get these two kind of shower curtain style plastic rings. They're not the strongest ring, but let's see how they do here. There's not a whole lot of movement with the ring here, which I guess might not be a bad thing actually. All right, there's the rings. We have our cards. I'm not going to shuffle them, I'm just going to put them on in the order that they came. And then there's like a little clasp. You kind of lock it back together here so it's a solid ring. So for whatever reason, the cards don't quite clear this, so maybe it's not a bad thing, but yeah, they don't quite lay flat here. If you look in here, you have the card that comes down on the ring and it doesn't quite lay flat. I'm not sure if that's a pro or a con. It might actually be a pro because now they're kind of tilted at angle a little bit for you to read. And these rings are very tight here. They're not spinning at all. They barely go through the holes that are drilled there. There's no movement to them. Again, I think in this case it might not be a bad thing. So there's our rings and our cards. You can flip them over. They're only one-sided. It would have been nice to have them double-sided, but they're one-sided. And so if you pick this pattern here, we need two yellows here, so let's move all this stuff out of the way first. There's our two yellows. Then we need a red. Let's move this stuff. There's our red, and we need a blue. There's our blue. And rinse and repeat for this row, and this row. That's it. Then that's all there is to this game. The 28 cards, the sliding color chits. So again, it would be nice to have maybe more of these. I'm not sure how many possible combinations there are. Might have been nice to have double-sided cards to have more patterns to go through, but this is probably plenty for a young kid. This isn't done very well. I see young hands pulling this apart very easily. It's not very secure. Probably as a pro that doesn't spin, but it just doesn't seem very robust. These seem pretty strong. These aren't coming out very easily. And it's held in by plenty of screws. The screws are recessed. And again, I think it's probably a pro that these actually don't lay flat because it's a little bit angled in for your viewing. But yeah, let's give it a 7 out of 10. I think for what it's supposed to be, it does the job just fine. So you can give it to a young player. They can play with it. They might rip these things open. I mean, they come apart pretty easily. But even if they come apart, I mean, the worst case scenario is you're gonna have a bunch of cards laying around. And there's no, you probably even use these without having the rings. You probably just have the cards on the table and do it that way. So these aren't necessarily like a critical part of the game if you don't want to use those rings. That's my review. The Likee Rapid Slide game. I don't think it's the fastest, funniest, or cleverest, but I think it probably is pretty fun for a youngster. Any questions or comments? Leave them down below and I'll be happy to reply. And I will see you again real soon.